Think about the treatment that people suffered at the hands of the Nazis. They were physically beaten, they were mentally tortured, they were verbally abused, and there was an element of sexual torture. They were often raped. A lot of people are not aware that gay people were treated so badly by the Nazis.
I think it's something that's a bit underrepresented.
I need to admit, I never thought about it.
In relation to the war?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
You don't get into this topic.
Everyone's still on a journey to have equal rights, and for me, I just think it's important to speak about it.
It's important that the story is told about the gay experience. Germany was a lot more progressive, I would say, than a lot of other societies before the Nazis came to power.
Paragraph 175 was a law that was brought in actually in 1871, and it was a law against acts between people of the same sex. It wasn't necessarily really adhered to.
Especially in the years 20s to 33, it was quite free and very open.
Now, when the Nazis came into power, they immediately started being prejudiced against gay people. Between 1937 and 1939, 75,000 gay men were arrested. Homosexuality was seen as a disease that was going to infect the whole of the German Reich.
Haben unsere Gegner dafür gesorgt, dass durch Verbot und Verfolgungswellen von Zeit zu Zeit die Bewegung wieder ausgekämmt wurde von dem leichten Zeug, das sich bei ihr einzufinden begann. Heute müssen wir selbst Musterung halten und abstoßen, was sich als schlecht erwiesen hat. Und deshalb
rief eines Morgens hier die Kriminalpolizei. Sie stehen im Verdacht, homosexuell zu sein. Sie sind hiermit verhaftet.
You know, the book that we're kind of basing our film on is called Men with a Pink Triangle by Heinz Hager, or his real name is Joseph Cahoot. By 1939 he was 22 years old, and unusually for the time he had come out to his parents. Whilst at university he met Fred, the love of his life. However, his life changed forever when he was arrested by the Gestapo, and he was ultimately sent to Sachsenhausen concentration camp. He in the book describes it as a camp of torture and toil. When Joseph arrived here, he was given a pink triangle, and this was on his uniform at all times.
War noch Homo, glaube ich, oder Paragraph 175 stand da auf den ganz großen Buchstaben auf den Jacken hinten. Soweit ich mich erinnere. Nachher nicht, da gab es den rosa Winkel.
So-called asocial had a brown triangle that had the measurements of probably this. The pink triangle was like this. So everybody in the camp would see and be able to spot gay people in the camp. And they were among the Jews the lowest category of prisoners.
And Joseph tells us about the work here, about the conditions they were forced to work in. And he talks about the fact that the work that they were doing was really designed to break their spirits. The official Nazi policy towards homosexuals was extermination through work. So that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted gay people to come here, undergo horrendous conditions, and then to die. He talks a lot about seeing people being beaten to death. He saw a priest that came here one night to Sachsenhausen, and he was praying, the priest was praying, and the Nazis didn't like that, so they beat him to death.
Wurden alle Homosexuellen transportiert nach Mauthausen und sind fast alle. umgekommen.
You know, you're from Germany. Do you have any family members that were affected by the Nazis?
Yes, so my grandpa, he used to be in a concentration, but he never talks about it, so I don't know what happened. He just told me this one story from the guy who was sitting next to him, that he ate his shoes just to get something in your mouth, but I really don't know lots because... Why do
you think your grandfather didn't talk about it?
He just wanted to get over it, but I don't think that you really get over it. I just think he wanted to save us from the horrible side of the world. He didn't wanted to show us how horrible people can be.
So Joseph, in 1945, was liberated by the Americans. He went back to his family home, to his mother in Vienna, and when they reunited, Joseph says they just wept, they just cried. And Joseph discovered that in 1942 his father killed himself, and the last line in his father's suicide note was, "May God protect my son." So Joseph was back in the same house, he was back in the same bedroom, like nothing had changed, but of course everything had changed. He had endured horrors that we can't imagine.
For gay men, the liberation of the camps was not their full liberation.
Because they felt that it was right. They felt there was nothing bad, and these people were not considered to be victims of the war.
Es wollte auch keiner hören, wenn man bloß irgendein Stichwort sagt. Aber ich bin mit dem Kram zufrieden. Ich bin vorbei und damit ist erledigt.
It's important to remember that despite many advances, homophobia is still a very real problem.
Globally, we live in a heteronormative society. I get abuse on the streets regularly, and I know that lots of people do. It's constantly in the news. As part of my work, I'm obviously looking at it a lot, and it just continues to happen.
It's really important to learn about the history, to understand what gay men like Joseph went through. But it's equally important to understand that although things have very much improved for gay people in many parts of the world, in other parts of the world it's just the same.
My experience and the experience of my peers, it's still an issue, it's still a thing, it's still a journey that we're on.